Hello everyone, welcome to Filmora training on your PC. So the only difficulty with doing this in the Zoom format is that if I'm sharing my screen, you've got to have Zoom at fully open and you're just watching my screen. If you've got Zoom minimized, you can't see my screen, but you can be working on your own. So I'll just leave it up to you how you guys want to do it. If you just want to, if you literally just want to work along on your computer, you can do that. If you do, I would suggest that you've actually got a video ready to put in there. But otherwise, we're just going to play around with a test one that I've got on mine. So,
Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to send us the recording, aren't you? So if we miss something, we can watch it again. Is that right?
Yep,
yeah, so that's okay. I'm just going to watch you.
Absolutely. And that might be a good idea just to then, once you go through the recording, just sit with the recording on one bit and go through Filmora and do it.
Yeah.
Do it while you're doing it when you're watching the playback. And please just, you know, shout out or whatever with a question. This is totally interactive, and the more questions there are, the better there are for the people that are watching the recordings as well, for the people that can't make it on the live call, because then they're getting things that they might not have ordinarily gotten. So I think we're recording, so that's good. Now, so I'm just going to start sharing my screen, and I've got to actually open the program first. That might help. Where is it? Okay, there it is. So just opening up Filmora 9. Hello, Paveen. Thanks for joining us. We're just getting...
Can I ask, is this the things we've already recorded and then we put it in there and it makes it pretty?
Yes.
Yeah. We don't use Filmora to actually film it there. Use it for filming. We use it for editing and making it prettier.
Yeah. You only need your smart, Paveen, just so you know, I just muted you just while Jan was talking because of the kids' background noise. I've got kids here too, so I totally understand, but they're upstairs at the moment. So if I do mute people, it's just because of the background noise and stuff like that, but feel free to unmute at any time to, you know, ask questions or anything like that. Do you have any questions to start off with? Have you got Filmora installed and things like that?
Yes, I have. I've installed it. I looked at it. I'm like, I have no idea. So, yeah. Well, and sorry, I'm late. I've just got the rascals in the back. So sorry for the noise.
That's fine. That's fine.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
I've taken a video I've made and put it into YouTube. Is it going to be much the same as doing that?
Well, I mean, just uploading a video to YouTube, you haven't edited it at all, right? So you're literally just putting up a raw video. So what I'm teaching you today is the basics of going in and putting a video in there, cutting out the bits that you don't want to cut out, that you don't want in there, adding some captions, adding some music, exporting it, saving it, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
At the moment, sorry, Jem. At the moment, I use Movie Maker, which is not really made anymore, but it's on my laptop. So my question was, because I haven't downloaded Filmora until we had this session, why Filmora?
It's pretty user friendly. It's good on both Mac and PC. So, but just so you know, you can't go and then, if you had both, like I have both, you can't go and move a Mac one over to your PC and expect to work on the same file. They're different types of files, but it's a relatively cheap program. If you want to, you can have the free version and you can export it and it will just have a watermark on it, which is fine. You know, if you just want to put videos out there, no one cares. But if you want to pay for it, it's only $80, and that's a lifetime membership. So it's just a really affordable program, whereas some of them are hundreds or thousands. So that's why I use Filmora. It's just a really good version for PC and Mac, and it's that next level up from iMovie for Mac users. iMovie is good for some things, but it does things like captions and everything. It's just terrible. So, and they've never really updated it in the whole time that iMovie has been out. But not your problem because you guys are PC users. So,
great,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, cool. So, has my Filmora opened up? Let's just see. Don't know why it didn't. Then I'll start sharing my screen as soon as it opens. Here it goes.
Could I ask a quick question? I haven't used Filmora myself, but I'm sorry, you can hear that in the background. I've got an app called InShot, which I've been using, but it's mostly for Instagram.
Yep.
So is it similar to that, or can I use Filmora for Instagram stuff or not?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. InShot, is it just an app, InShot?
Yeah, it's an app, so it's just like that.
Yeah, so pretty basic features. There's lots of apps that will do lots of different things.
Okay.
Jan's just getting a cup of tea. You're all good, Jan.
Yeah. And the file sizes, are they huge? That's the other worry.
You can really downsize them if you need to. So
okay, cool.
Yeah. There's some things that you might want to keep doing on InShot, and there will be some things that you'll just say, no, I want to use Filmora on my desktop for this. So yeah,
okay,
I've never used InShot myself, but there's very similar, a lot of very similar apps. So yeah. All right, now my thing is open, so I'm going to share my screen with Filmora. Okay, can you just give me a thumbs up if you guys can see this Filmora screen here? Yep, okay, fantastic. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to say I want to do a new project. Now, Parveen, I'm glad you asked, because this is where if you wanted to do an Instagram size video straight away, you could choose a 1-to-1, okay? Or you could choose Instagram TV is 9:16, so that's the video that way versus widescreen. You can do a standard size 4:3. No one really does that anymore. And you can do cinema, which is really, I guess, what we used to call letterbox, a 21:9 ratio. But always just, unless you're doing specifically for Instagram or Instagram TV, just always choose 16:9 widescreen, because most of our videos that we watch are this. And you can even put your videos for the IGTV, you can put them this way now too. They don't have to be portrait for Instagram TV anymore. They changed that. So we're just going to start a new program. Screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed. What does that mean? Share screen again. Okay, can you guys see Filmora again? Yep. Okay. All right, so this is our main area. Now, it looks really daunting when you first hop in here, but I'll explain it as I go. So the first thing that we want to do is, I can't even save this until I've imported my first bit of video. So I just have to keep moving the Zoom menu because it drives me nuts. All right, so this up the top, all we do is we go File, Import Media, and import media files. Don't worry about any of the other things. You can do this straight from a phone or something like that, or a camera if you needed to. But I always just do import media files. And what I've already done on my computer is, where did I save it? Hold on. I'm sure I made a folder on my computer earlier that said, movies. Just hold on a second. I thought I made a folder. Maybe I didn't. Hold on. I might have to copy it over from my my drive. All right. So one of the first rules of Filmora is save everything in the same folder. Okay, so you want to create a folder. Can you guys see my desktop, or are you still seeing? Can you see my desktop? No. Yes. Anyway, what I'm doing is I'm creating a folder. Yeah.
No, I can't see.
You can see the shared screen, and I can see your face.
Okay. Is the shared screen Filmora or my desktop?
Filmora.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Right. That's right. On my computer, just so you know, on my desktop, I've just created a folder called Filmora Lesson. It could be called anything really. It could be called the project that you're working on or something like that. And I'm just going to go into, that's right, there they are all still sitting there. All right. Got all my test videos that I did in my last lesson. I'm going to copy them into the Filmora lesson folder. All right. Okay, back to Filmora. All right, so yeah, like I said, always save everything in the same folder, and I'll explain that to you why later, that it's important to have all your assets in the same folder. So all your assets are your videos, your pictures, your music that you might have, things like that. And so I am going to go back here to import media files. And on my desktop now, I have a folder called Filmora Lesson. And I've got a whole bunch of videos in here of this guy, David. And first of all, I'm just going to start with importing just one of the videos. In this case, he did a whole bunch of takes. So you guys just might normally just be working on one video, and that would keep it really, really simple. But I'll show you, you know, what you do to put other videos next to each other. So like Karen, for example, you might take a whole bunch of snippets at one of your events in the future when we're allowed to have events again. And
they're now online.
Yeah, exactly. And you might want to snap them all together. So that's what we'll do here. So now this is what I like about it on the PC. In the Mac, you have to drag it down like this, but in the PC, I could actually just add. I can press this plus button. This might come up every now and then, so it might say the resolution is slightly different to the project. And I just always just say match to the media, because you don't want to stuff around with the media, right? So it was just the frame rate that it was worried about, which is kind of the speed of how someone, how the thing is recorded. You don't have to worry about those technical things, but if it does say it, then you just say match it to the media. So all I did there was I actually dragged that down. Now this area down here, like I described it on my last class, these are like layers of a cake. And if you've ever worked in Photoshop or anything like that as well, you have layers, right? So the bottom layer in Filmora is actually the music. So if you see down here, there's a tiny little music icon, if you can see it. The next layer has a little movie icon. That's where the movies go. You can't put anything in the wrong layer. It won't let you. You just drag it down there and it pops it into the right layer. So then we're going to build more layers on top of this cake. So the next layer up can be pictures that sit on top of the video. There can be words, captions, things like that. So you can actually have lots of layers on this cake, but usually we have about 3. So let's say, okay, I've got that 5006 video in here, but I want to add in all of them. So I'm just going to go import media files again, and I'm just going to select all of them, just with your standard holding your shift button down and selecting them all. And all it's doing is putting them here in this asset area. This is all your media. It hasn't actually put them into the video yet. And you can know that by looking at this green tick here. That green tick tells me that that is in the, it's in the video itself. So I want to add all of them in. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move this little red little man here, red line, not man. And that just tells me where I want to start putting stuff. And this is what I like about the PC version is I can just go and hit this plus button and it just puts them all in there and I don't have to move that red line again. So I'm just going to hit plus on 007 and see how the red line is at the end of 007 now. So now I can hit plus on 008, it chucks him in there. I can do it on 009, version 2, 009. I don't know why there's two 009s. 5010, I'll add in 511 and 512. And so you can see here in the top left, my asset area, that all of those have got ticks to them. And so that means that's all sitting in the video now. So now I'm just going to minimize door faces because it gets in the way of my all my other bits of menu. Right, so now that I've actually imported some videos in here, don't forget to save. So you can't save the project until you've actually got one bit of video into this bottom, into the timeline area. So I'm just going to save the project. And remember what I said about doing everything in the same folder before. So Filmora will often want you to save things in its own folder, which is fine, but things get messy and it's hard to find. So just browse to your desktop or wherever you're saving things, go to Filmora Lesson 1, and we're going to call this the data test and save away. And this WFP is just the type of file that Filmora files are called. But it'll be called the same thing on a Mac, but if you try and open this on a Mac, it won't work. So, but that's fine. The good thing about this is if you're working with VAs or something like that overseas, you can upload all of the files for this Filmora project and send it to your VA overseas who's using the same version, and you can share these files very easily. Yes, hello?
What's VA mean?
Oh, virtual assistant, sorry. Yeah, so if you were getting a virtual assistant to help you with things, you could start the video project here. You could upload all of everything, including that WFP file, to a folder on Google Drive or something, and they could download it all on their end, work on it. They could send you back the exported file, but they could also send you back that that latest WFP file, and you would have the latest workings back at home again. And you know, there's a lot of uploading and downloading, but the whole point is that you can share these files easily and update it. So let's say they worked on it and then you said, oh, there's just one little word I want to change, I'll just do it myself. So you just go in there and change it yourself and export away. So it is good like that, that you can work between different computers with these files. Okay, so we've saved the project, and now the first thing we want to do is this control over here is our zoom in and zoom out, which is only for this timeline. It's not for here or anything like that. It just helps you see the project and everything a little bit better. This here helps you scroll to the start and to the end. My zoom menu always gets in the way. These little ups and downs here is showing you his talking patterns and things like that. So you can actually see here, and this is actually greatly improved in the latest versions of Filmora, is you can actually see these sound bars a lot better. I just zoomed in before, and you can see here that it skipped up to 1:36 on the thing. So I'll just want to sorry, it's just my zoom menu just keeps getting in the way. I just want to skip back to the start and get my little red guy here. And sorry, I just realised my laptop's not plugged in. Plug that in. Okay, and so I'm back at the start now. You guys will probably hear him talking with me. Can you guys hear the volume on him him talking? Carly, can you answer that question?
I can't hear him. Did you click the little tick box when you said share screen? No, I can't hear him.
You can't hear him talking? Doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter.
Did you do the tick box when you did share screen?
He's not talking.
Okay, all right. That's fine. It doesn't matter if you can't hear him. But what I'm going to show you is now how to edit his video. So you can see here that on his soundbar that there's a long time here where we were talking before he started talking on the microphone. I'm just going to put my little red line here, and I can either click along. I'm just pressing my arrow at the moment, one of my left and right arrows.
We can hear that.
You can hear that? There you go. Right. I can hear him talking. So I just want to cut this video. So my first option to cut is to literally just press that scissor and go cut. I'm just going to Control Z and undo that. My other way to cut, I can just drag this anywhere I want, is to go Control B. That's does the same thing. I like Control B better because sometimes you press the scissor and it doesn't work. So all I have to do now, I'm just going to zoom out a tiny little bit, is I didn't want any of that stuff before that. So I have selected that front section of this 5006 video, and I'm just going to hit delete. And I'll go back to the start, and now the video just goes straight into him. Now it was just a little bit, I needed a little bit more time before him. And so that video is not gone forever. It's actually still sitting there, but it's hidden. It's kind of weird, but it doesn't, if you get rid of things, it's not gone forever. So all I have to do is I just say, I just wanted to start just a smidge earlier. So I'm just going to grab this until I see the drag arrows, and I'm just going to drag it back a little bit. Why can't I do that? It's not behaving. Okay, so what I've had to do here is, for some reason, this is one of the little things that's different between a Mac and a PC, is on a PC I can just drag that and it just starts again, but I'm having to actually drag this forward to drag it back a little bit. So I just wanted a little bit more airtime before he starts talking. So I'll just listen to it again, and it's just a little bit more. You guys still can't hear him talking?
No.
No, okay, doesn't matter. All right. Okay, so we've cut the start out there. And you can see here, oh, there's a big pause here. So I would go in there and I'd play.
Sorry, can you just show us how you whatever the word was, highlighted it so it would disappear?
I'll show you here. I'll show you here because I'm going to cut it again. It's got quite a long pause here. Okay, so you can see how the sound bars go flat, but you also listen to it and go, yeah, he definitely wasn't talking. So I'm just going to move the little red bar to about here, and I'm going to cut it with the scissors. And then see how it didn't work? It just sometimes doesn't work. So sometimes you have to double cut. No, it still didn't do it.
Sherry, is that red bar thing always there?
There is always a red bar somewhere, yeah. Yes. Where's my, I can't see my sound bars now. What's going on? Oh, okay, what have I done? Did I do something? It's like I got rid of the sound. So I did something that made the sound go away. That was a bit strange. All right. So yeah, this red bar can always be moved along the time. So you can see here that this is at 8 seconds, and it's actually by, it's not seconds, it's frames. So you can see here, it says 8:24, and then if I go 8:26, 8:27, okay, see how it went to 8:29 and then it goes to 9. So it's actually not seconds, it's 8 seconds and 29 frames. So the frames are actually less than point whatever of a second. So don't just think that that's 8.13 seconds. It's 8 seconds and 13 frames. So just so you know, it's not really that important, but if you're thinking that it's time, it might confuse you because you might be looking for 8.59 seconds and that doesn't exist. It'll only go to, like I said, 8.29, and then it'll go to 9 seconds. So I'm going to cut here again, Jan, to show you how we cut. Like I said, sometimes the scissor doesn't work. It worked that time. I could see that it did that. And either, again, I can drag or I can cut. So I can go here and I can cut. I'm going to do it. There we go. See how it kind of jolted out a little bit when I cut it? If you move the red line, you'll see that it's created a little section. So all I have to do to get rid of that is just select it. You can see that it is selected. There's a slight little border around it. And I just hit delete. If I don't want to delete it that way, what I can do is I can get rid of that last cut. Let's say we're just starting with this cut here at the left. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, go back, and this is the other way to, instead of cutting, we can just drag like I showed before. And it's really good when you can see the sound bars because you kind of know better where to stop. And so now I can play this and just listen to it. You guys can't hear it though. And it sounds a lot better. That pause is not now 3 seconds long or something that it was before. So that's just a really basic edit. Now, if I mucked it up and I cut off a little bit too much of the word, I can just drag that back. And he'll have that little bit more second of a word again. So it doesn't, like I said before, when you cut, it doesn't actually disappear. It's still sitting there behind it. And you can always drag it back again to extend it. But I'll go, no, I still like it a little bit tighter, so I'm just going to bring it there. Is this all making sense so far? Any questions?
Questions from me? It's making sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. I'm
Now,
gonna ask that question.
Sorry.
As with everything on a PC, save all the time. So I just saved as I was going because you know, programs like this are using a lot of memory will sometimes
Where's
crash.
the save button?
Well, I just did Control S, just like anything on a PC, but you've also got File Save. I can't hit save at the moment because I just did it. So if it's not giving you a save option, it means you haven't actually made any changes since the last save. But every time you make a little major change, just save it.
I've got a little question.
Yep.
Rather than, so can I just leave the cut there and not delete it so that I can edit it later? So is that the safest way? Because if I delete it, then I'll have to create another cut.
Well, yes, you can leave it there if you want to go back to it. But like I said, that bit that I cut out before, it's still there. I can drag this all the way back to the start of the video, but it's still hidden behind there. So as long as you're working in the Filmora file, you can access all those little cuts. But if you export it, you can't get that stuff back, basically. So does that make sense?
So even if I had deleted that, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Even if you had gone cut and then delete, it's still sitting there behind that video, still there. So don't worry about it. All right. Okay, so we've done that. We'll go along, do it again. In this case, he's done lots of different versions. So I'm just going to cut it there, cut it there. And I'm going to delete. I'm just pressing the delete button, or just Control Z there, edit, undo. I could, I think, right click, and I can delete if I right click as well. So that's another way to do it. Just all your typical PC controls work in here. Yeah, so again, there's another big, I'm not going to bother listening to this, but I know where he definitely isn't talking from those sound waves. I'm going to delete that bit, and I'm going to delete that bit. Cut again, or I can Control B, doesn't matter. Delete that bit, and there we go. So that's your basics of cutting and moving things about. Now, the next bit I want to quickly show you is that you can easily drag videos into different orders as well. So I could grab this one here on the end, and I could say, put it there. And I could grab this one, and I could say, put it there. Okay? And I just saw a little gap before, but I think when I dragged it, no, okay, see this little gap here? Sometimes these gaps happen. I don't know why, it's in the Mac, it doesn't happen. So I just need to drag that back there, because otherwise that would have been a gap of no video. So that's why it's good to constantly sort of zoom in and zoom out, because you see more things at different zoomed ins and zoomed outs and everything like that. So yeah, so this looks like a whole video here where he's actually not talking, so I'm just going to delete that video altogether. All right, so let's just say that this was a perfect edit. Now, you know, you go, yep, he's nailed it. He's done he's finally got his 2 minutes with all of the videos that he's made. This could be one video. It could be it could be 10 videos. It doesn't matter. So as you know, I deleted 5010. So now there's no tick here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to delete it out of the project, because you've got to clean up the dead wood in these projects. So sometimes if you're, and I would highly recommend this, if you are creating a series of videos and you've got a certain look, and you know, like your favorite subtitles, your favorite intro, and you're just changing the little bit in between each time, then I would set up a Filmora template as such. And every time you'd make a new one, you'd go, okay, file, I've got my February video here. I'm just going to go in Filmora and go file, save as March video. And then I'll import the new video. But what you want to do is you want to get rid of the old dead wood and the dead assets so that they're not sitting there, that they don't need to be there. So in this case, we don't need 510 anymore. So I'm just right clicking on 510 and I'm just deleting it out of here. Are you sure you want to delete it? Yes. Okay. So that hasn't deleted it from your computer. It's just deleted it from this project. And it won't go looking for that file anymore if you open it up later. So it's just something really good to remember if you are making the same version, a different version of the same template each month or each week or something like that. If you're making regular videos, that this is what you can do. And once you've set up a really good looking template, it's so quick to do. You can just literally jump in, chuck your new video in, redo your subtitles, your logo's in there, everything looks the same every month, and away you go. So, but just remember to get rid of the assets that you don't want for that particular project. Does that make sense so far? Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for explaining that so well.
Sounded like that was going to be a sarcastic comment.
No, I am
clear as cotton wool.
I'm technically disabled, so you're simplifying it, which is great.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, we're going.
Can I ask another question?
Yep.
Do you use it, say, for your proper projects? You have fancy cameras, don't you?
Yeah. But a lot of the times I just use phone as well. It just depends what I'm doing.
Is the phone enough?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You were breaking up a little. You were breaking up a little bit there. What was that? The phone is enough.
The phone is enough. I've got an old iPhone 6, so I should get a new one if I want to do this seriously, or is that going to be good?
iPhone 6 totally fine as well. Totally fine. The video is totally fine.
Oh, good. Saving money.
Yeah. It makes totally fine videos, and the only thing that I'd recommend is that you just plug a microphone into it. This video here was recorded on iPhone 6, because I carry around my spare old 6 because the microphone can plug into it because it's got the old audio jack, and this red microphone here that I carry around, the converters into the new iPhones never seem to work properly. So I just carry around this iPhone 6 for doing quick little interviews here and there. And that's all I had on me that day when we filmed this. It was just a random, let's go out and film it now. It wasn't prepared for it. So we just did it on the iPhone. And as you can see, the quality's totally fine. It does HD video.
Thank you.
I just recommend having a microphone, and which you can do. You can plug in a normal, you know, these type of headphones into an iPhone, or that type of one that you see there. Well, the only thing that you need to know is you actually need a, yeah, this is going to get confusing, but there's actually a little converter that you need to put in on the end of a normal microphone. I'm just going to show you quickly on a microphone jack here, if you guys can see this. This is your normal iPhone headphone microphone, and see how there's 3 little lines, ridge lines? That microphone headphones have 3 lines. A microphone only has 2. And that's something to do with audio in and audio out or something like that. So if you plug one that has 2 ridges into an iPhone or a phone, it won't do it properly. You have to actually have a converter. So that microphone there that you can see on the screen is the red microphone is a 2 ridge. It's the same size plug, but it has 2 little, in that case, black ridges. It's got 2 little black ridges instead of 3. So I have a little converter that you can get with a lot of microphone kits. They come with it, and you just double plug that on, and the converter has the 3 rings on it, and then that's what you plug into your phone. So just be aware of that. If you ever plug a microphone straight into a phone, make sure you've got one of these little converters on the end of it. So it's just one of these things that if you don't know, you can just go crazy figuring, why isn't the microphone working?
And that's so good to know.
That's why this 2 and 3 ring thing.
That's good.
So most microphones, if you buy something like that red microphone, it'll come with that converter. But otherwise, just, you know, JCar Electronics or JB might sell them, but on, you know, they sell them on the internet and everything like that. So yeah.
I've got a question on my, sorry.
Yeah, go Parveen. Yep.
Sorry, I've just got a question. I think I've got a newer phone. I've got an XS. I don't think it's got a jack. So how do I take, I guess, what's the best way of using my phone to take videos?
The best way is for you to use your white headphones or ear pods to do that. If you're just recording you, then I would just use your iPhone headphones. You can get converters for normal microphone to iPhone, you know, the lightning pin or whatever it's called. And then there's even some other types of plugs now on other Android phones now as well. So you just need to get a converter and check that it works. And otherwise just use your Apple product with the microphone, which is not, it's not always ideal. Like if you were holding the phone for someone and you're shooting them a meter away, your cord is not always going to reach. But if they've got ear pods in, then that's fine. Or some other kind of Bluetooth headset is fine. Just check that the audio is going to be decent enough. But if you're just inside, you don't even really need a microphone. Your iPhone will pick it up fine enough. It's just more for when it's outside and you've got that a bit or more noise around you in a noisy area that you want to have the microphone nice and close to you. So yeah, that's my recommendations there. All good, everyone? I'll move on to the next bit. Any more questions there?
Thank you. Yeah. I'm worried my i6 is going to die, that's all. And what should I be with?
Well, are you using it as your everyday phone as well? Try and you know, get the latest iPhone, but if your 6 still works, you might find that once you take everything off your 6 and it's just working as a device. So my iPhone 6, I don't have a SIM card in it or anything like that. I just connect it to Wi-Fi when I need to. So it's literally like just a device. It doesn't have any kind of phone setting. You can still do anything on Wi-Fi and email and stuff, but I just use it as a spare device. And so once you get a lot of crap off it, you might actually find that it's performing a bit better, and just, you know, charge it and everything like that. But I find that even just having that iPhone on airplane mode all the time, it lasts for days if I'm not using it. The battery actually lasts heaps longer because it'll die if it's on Wi-Fi, but if you have it on airplane mode, the battery will last for days. So keep a hold of it if you can, because it actually is really handy because it's got that audio jack. So yeah.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah. All right. So now what we're going to do is actually add some titles and some words and some other things like that. So what I'm going to do first is show you how to put a photo into a presentation. So I don't have much sitting on this computer. Let's see if there's not. This is a brand new computer. So let's just go to I'm just going to go to the internet and just download something, anything. All right, images. Just so we've got something to play with. Alright, and I'm going to get a logo as well, so I can show you guys logos. Try and hopefully that's a proper PNG. All right, do it. Okay, so I'm just going to import a couple of other assets and import media files. And I just downloaded these couple of things. So I downloaded Sophia's Honey logo, and which has moved here into my asset area. And I'm going to import the other image that I put in there. And I'm just going to download something that looks like a PowerPoint slide, because that's a really good example as well. All right, and I'll just import that. PowerPoint looking thing. It's not a proper slide, it's kind of the whole version of the whole view of PowerPoint, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so what I might decide is that let's say David is talking here and I want to insert an image, but I want to insert it while he is not talking. So what I'm going to do here is I just hover over my image here and press plus, and that is just going to chuck it straight into the video file, into the video bit of the timeline, and that'll actually stop the video completely, right? There may be a reason for you doing this. You may just have some music sitting behind this, or you may want it to go completely silent, whatever it is. So that's one way to insert an image in between any piece of video. So I could say, I want it here in the middle of 5006. I'm gonna, didn't cut, okay, I've split 5006 in half, and I'm gonna bring in Sophia's honey here and insert that. So that's one way to insert an image. It chooses a default time that it wants that image to play for. It's usually about 4 seconds. In this case, it seems to be a bit longer, 15 to whatever, it's about 5 seconds. So if I decided I could have that image going for as long as I want or as short as I want, and I just drag it, basically. I should also be able to, I am clicked on that image at the moment, and I can go to this little area down here. It's got all these other little tools, and I can say, I want this image to go for, you know, a different amount of time. This is a really strange window because for some reason you just hold your mouse down and you drag left or right and it changes the number. It's bizarre. I was expecting an up and down thing. You can also get in here and type 5 or something like that and change it to running for 5 seconds and 5.23 seconds or whatever. But otherwise just dragging is fine. If you needed it exact, then that's when you do this, clicking on this timer duration thing, and you would say exactly, you would type over it and you'd say, I need it exactly 3 seconds. So you go 3.00, and then that would make it that long. Okay, so that's how we put images in as we go. Now, let's say David was actually presenting about a PowerPoint presentation, and I wanted David to keep talking, and he might say, now here I am talking about how he's a window guy or something like that. This is how windows keep their heat in. So what I want to do now is I'm going to pull in this PowerPoint slide, and if I just hit plus here, it would just put it into the middle of the video where it was. But I actually want, I just hit delete there. I just want this video, this PowerPoint slide to sit on top of his video because I want him to keep talking while this PowerPoint slide comes up. So I've dragged it on top of the video. So now it's actually showing on top of there, and it's actually a little bit too small because it's not the right size, but that's okay. We can play around with that here. So just so you know, if you want an image to fit perfectly on this video, you need to go to Canva or Stencil or Photoshop or something, or Paint or something, and make this image 1920 by 1080. That's the pixel size of these videos. So if you want an image to fit perfect in the video, you just make it that size.
What was those numbers again, Jerry, please?
1920.
1920?
Yep, by 1080. So that's the resolution of these videos. That's the resolution of your 16 by 9 video.
Sorry, yep.
The same, if we were downsizing this a little bit to the next size down, it would be 1280 by 720. But always just stick to 1920 by 1080.
Yep.
And then we can downsize the video anyway.
Can I ask then, if you want it to go for 5 seconds, you have to stretch it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you can either just stretch it like this with the stretchy tool, or you can select it and do this duration thing and you know, double click over these things and make it go 5.00, and that will go exactly 5 seconds. Now, what I'm going to show you with this is not a very good image because you can actually, I can already see that it's kind of blurry, so it wasn't a very good quality image, but that's all right. We'll just pretend that it is quite good. Now, what I'm going to do is I've right-clicked on the image, and I'm going to go, first of all, I'm going to go to crop to fit and just see how it looks. Okay, so it's zoomed it in to that big. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll just undo what I just did. I just did Control Z. And I'm going to go crop and zoom, because this is where you can then, you can say, I want it to fit 16:9. So at the moment, the ratio is original ratio. So that was the ratio of this image. As you can see, this image was only 261 by 193. So it's way too small to put in a video. It'll be too blurry. But let's pretend that it's a lot bigger. So I'm going to change this to 16:9. And you can see here that it's cropping it to the right thing. So I'm actually going to just put it in the best position. So I think that that's probably the best position for 16:9. And I'll hit OK. So has it done it? There you go. Okay, now you can see here that it takes up the right amount of video, but it's still, it was a little bit, I just clicked on it and it fixed it up. You could still see a bit of the video on the side here, so I just dragged it to the end there. But I also might want to just zoom in on a section here, because he might be just talking about these arrows here. So what I'm going to do is go back to this image, right click, crop and zoom, or you can press Alt-C to get to this. And before I just did crop, but now I want to do pan and zoom. So I've clicked over to pan and zoom, and it's a little bit hard to see, but you can see here I've got my this green border here, and it actually says start there. And then I've got this orange border here. Well, once I click on it, it changes to blue. So the blue is the active color, and that's the end. So this is where the zoom is going to start, and this is where the zoom is going to end. And again, I can change the ratio here. I could make it a different ratio if I wanted to, but it's best to stick to the 16:9. And so I might say, okay, I want the zoom to start, let's say we didn't want any of that other PowerPoint crap around the side of it, any of that menu stuff. So I'm going to start it here, although it doesn't fit exactly perfect. So I'm just going to start it here, and then I'm going to zoom it in to just focus on this. Okay, so now it's going to start here and it's going to zoom here, and I'll show you what that looks like. So just watch the top right here. All right, so that was my evil laugh in the background of that. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear what's happening in the video. So that is how we can incorporate PowerPoint slides or something like that into what we're doing. We don't have to crop it. We don't have to zoom this. If all of a sudden you just go, I don't want that zoomed, we just go back to crop, and it will turn the pan and zoom off. I just might make that a little bit bigger. There we go. So now that it's back to crop only, it'll just keep that image up there that whole time. Got to crop that video down because I hear my evil laugh and it just sounds terrible. All right. Does that make sense about the way that we've added this image on top of the video? It's the next layer on the cake. All making sense, I hope.
Yes, Joe, thank you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Carly. All right, so again, I'm just going to say.
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Cool. Now, I might decide, oh, my brand of my company is called Sophia's Honey. So I'm going to put a little branding stamp on top of the whole video. So I'm going to pull down Sophia's Honey, and what I want it to do is to sit on top of everything. So I'm just going to bring it down to this level, because this level is above that PowerPoint slide. I'm just going to bring it down here. And see how it just created another line up the top? That means that I can still be dragging stuff down. I don't know if there's a limit to that, but you can seem to be able to make a lot of layers. So Sophia's Honey, it's a bit too big, obviously. So I'm going to move my zoom menu again. All right. I'm just going to move this around until I'm happy with where it is. And in most cases, I would put a transparent logo there so that you don't have that white box, but this is what I downloaded, so that's what we're stuck with. So, okay, I'm happy with where Sophia's honey is. I'm just going to minimize a little bit here, not too far. And I am just going to drag that the whole length of the video so that Sophia's honey will stay there the whole time. So that's how you put a bit of branding on a logo, branding on a video very easily. And you can move that at any time. You can just select it and go, you know what, I want it here. Or if all of a sudden you had something going on up the top, you could select Sophia's honey logo, cut it, and then from there on, it would be down here. So have a look, we go from up the top and then it moves down the bottom. So that's no problem. You can just, you can move it whenever you want, but just cut it and move it in that next little section. So
can you do that again? How did you select it?
Okay, so let's say again, we only wanted the image down the bottom for that amount of time. I then that's selecting the one down the bottom. Now I'm selecting the end piece here. I've selected it here, right? Which there's this tiny little blue box around it that shows you that it's selected. It's very hard to see sometimes, but that allows me to grab it up here on the top right, and then I'll just move it back. And so then we go from bottom to top again, bottom to top. But let's say, oh no, I didn't quite put it back in the same position as the first one. And that's going to annoy me because I've got OCD. So what I'll do is I'll go delete that. I want it in the same position as the first time. So I'm going to copy the first one. I'm going to go Control C or copy or whatever. And then I've got my red line here and I'll just Control V. Oh, but it's pasted it down there. Why did it do that? Copy. No, I can't do that. I apologise. I don't know. Not letting me paste a copied bit here for some reason. Thought it would. Okay, this is up the top. That's down the bottom one. I really thought it would let me do that on that timeline. No, it just keeps doing it down the bottom. Okay, ignore that. But yeah, so basically you can split up that image as much as you want. Now, for some reason, again, when I move something, it's all got separated. It's just one of these quirky PC things. I'm not sure why it did that. So what I'm going to do, instead of having to individually move all these videos back to here, I'm going to grab them all together. So I'm just going to, this red line doesn't have to be here. It doesn't matter. In fact, I'll move it away because it's just confusing, because it will snap back to where it's meant to be. So I'm just going to select them all by, I'm selected that video and I'm hitting Shift, I'm holding down Shift while I click them with my mouse. I'm just going to drag them back here so that they're back there, and it did snap back there nicely. And as you can see, that image is not going for long enough anymore. So I've brought that back. So that's just a way to add a logo to what you're doing. And yeah, I'll show you another way to add in pictures in a minute. Save again. All right, so now we're happy with that. And let's say now we, Zoom menu again. Now we're ready to do some words and things like that. So who's doing the captioning class on Monday? Karen, you doing that? Captioning and podcasting, I think. I think Karen is, but anyway, that will go more into this kind of stuff.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah. But we're just going to do some basics here of how to add in these kinds of things. So the different kinds of things that you can add in is all up here in the titles area. So see this menu up here. Audio would show me audio that they have this is the audio that's included in Filmora. If you wanted to insert your own song, you would just go to your media, and your media is where all this stuff is kept, and you'd import more media. But I don't actually have any songs saved on this computer, so we're actually going to put in some music from Filmora anyway. So, but first of all, we're going to do some titles. So there's different kinds of things that they have included, and you can always download more. So there's what they call the credits. So the movie kind of credits, I can click on this and see what it looks like without it having put in my movie. That's just showing you an example of what these templated things are, directed by Jane Doe, you know. So there's credits, there's lower thirds, which are these kind of little pop-up ones. These are only good, not for captions, but just for little titles and stuff like that, because you can't do that many words. For example, in this one, you can actually, in some of these, you can stretch the box and make the box a bit wider to fit a bit more text in. But other ones are, you can't change much. Like in this one, this green one, I'm pretty sure you can change the color of it. We'll import one now. I think you can change the color of it and you can stretch it, but you can't change the way that it moves and stuff like that. So I've just dragged this lower third into here. Again, it just knows where to put it, but the text will always sit above the video. But if we had put Sophia's honey on this level, it would have put it side by side, and you would have had to have moved Sophia's up, because you want that to be the top thing. But the lower thirds and the captions and everything like that just sit above the video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click on this and see what I can go and change. Now, I like to work in the advanced tab. I just find it a little bit easier to play around with. So first of all, I can select the green box, and that's what this little line is here. So we've got the preset video, which is the way that this green box is animated, and then you've got your words here. So you can see your title here. This is this area here, and this is where we can change something, and then you present. We can change that to whatever we want. So I don't know why it automatically defaults to moving it all the way over to the left. But you go, oops, I've made a mistake. I'll just go and edit this up the top here. Oh, I need a capital M. You can edit it up here, or you can edit it down here. Either one, doesn't matter. It's just wherever you find it easier to get to. And you just might use that little area to do a website or whatever, or it could be the topic of the video. Oops, I just moved it, so I'll just Control Z to undo that. It might be all about Windows, and then it could be presented by David Morehouse from this business, whatever. In this case, the only thing I can do to this one is stretch it. So I can make this longer if I wanted to. I can make this higher if I wanted to. That line stays there. So I could make this almost as big as I want, really. But that line and that animation stays the same. So I would just, I could do this. If I wanted to make it look this bad, it could. So I can change the size of the font. I can change the actual font to anything crazy that I want to. See how I drag the size of that text box? It's not actually changing the size of the font, just so you know. So, I might say, make it size 36. Maybe I'll make the size 68. I'll go, well, that's way too big. Make it 40 or something like that. Whatever, doesn't matter. And then you'll go, the green's too big. I'm going to make it smaller again. I'm going to bring it down. remembering that that line stays there. And the other thing that is probably customizable, no, it doesn't even seem that the color is. So I've got this selected and it says customize over here. It says nothing to configure. So that means that I can't actually change anything else about this green box, not even the color. Sometimes you can change the color on these sort of preset things. I can't, can I animate it? I don't think I can. That usually only applies to the text. So I might want to do typewriter text for when his name comes on. And again, sometimes it just doesn't let you do it. It depends on the template that you're using. In this case, I don't think it's going to let me do it. No, it's not typewriter in his name. So typewriter is when it comes out one letter at a time. But I'll show you an example of what that is. So, but I can go into this preset section and I could make this font look like this or whatever these presets are. It's not doing it very quickly. And that changed it to yellow. There we are. There we go. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that you can do to your text. And I could also save that as a style, but let's say that I like that, but I want to then, I like that preset, but I want to change the text border to purple. And I go, yep, that's David's brand colors. I'm gonna save the way this look. I like it. I like the font. I like the size. I like the color. I like the text border. You know, I might decide actually I want a little bit more purple around the outside because that's what his logo looks like. I might say I don't want shadow on this text, and you go, yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to actually save this as a sorry, I have to keep moving my Zoom menu. There we go. Save as custom. See that box there? This is going to save this type of colouring, sizing, font and everything like that. So I'm going to call this David's captions. And that then I'll show you where to find that later. But if you wanted to use that same font again with that exact same colour and all those settings, it'll bring that back up for you. So I've just gotten out of that. So now you can see that that's how it comes up. And the image is changed because that's what we've got inserted here. But you could say, oops, I wanted that back here. I'm just going to drag that along the timeline. It was actually meant to be back here, not where that image of wheat is. Right, so that's your lower thirds. Like I said, lower thirds are usually just used for small little introduction type things, not for your burnt in captions. The other thing that you can add at the start of your videos is maybe an opener or a title. So the openers are these fully coloured things that go before your video, not on top of your video. So I'm just going to press plus on this one here. It's got to download it. Okay. Oh, there you go. It's behaving differently to the Mac. On the Mac, openers would only go before the video. That's really annoying that it didn't do that. There we go. Okay, I've dragged it down to the same video level because I actually want it to be before the video starts. Did you guys understand how I did that? It was up here. It was going to play on top of my video that I had, but I've dragged it down to the same level as the video. So it means that it will play before my video starts. So this is my opener, whatever it says. Again, sometimes things are customizable in here and sometimes they're not. So I'm just going into the advanced tab and it looks like, okay, looks like I can change the color of the fonts and everything like that. But it doesn't look like I can change I can't change the color of the screen. This one is just green. So it's just usually the fonts and things like that that you can change. So we'll just pretend that we changed words in there. Changing words in these things is always the same way. But that's what we call an opener versus now I'll show you what a title thing is. I'm going to move these lower thirds over here so that we can now put in an opener. So this is sometimes you get lost and you go, oh God, where am I? But I'm still I'm in here because this is what's selected actually. So I just hit OK and we'll go back to this area. And again, if you're lost and you go, where's all my media gone? Well, media is just sitting over here in your media, but we want to be in titles. Although these ones are called openers, these ones are called titles. So titles are the ones that go on top of your video. So I'm just going to select that and bring that down here. You can't put a title next to your video like an opener because they only go on top of videos. And so we'll just go test title. And I'll just play that here. So that was just a really, really simple one. And you might go, well, it's covering up his mouth a bit, so I'm just going to drag it down there a bit. Usually they're a little bit more fancy. So add that one in. Oh, look, it's added them in way up here, but that's all right. See how it's added them right to the top. I'm going to delete one because it didn't need to do two, but this is a more of an animated type of one. So, you know, you change your text here. It might say, welcome to something like that. And so as you can see, all these things can just keep going on top of each other. So we've still got the default title showing up, that one, which was that test title one. And we've got that other title hopping on top of it. And you might just say, oh, I don't want that one anymore, so I'm just going to delete it, and that's fine. And I can drag this down here if I want to, just to keep things a little bit neater. It doesn't need to be way up there. It's just as long as it's on top of the video, the next layer up from the video, just like your layers of your cake again. And then you might say, oh, I don't like this one. It's covering up way too much of his face. But what you can do with it is, like I said, sometimes things can be made smaller or bigger or moved around. So you might just say, I do like this one, even though it's really ugly. I'm just going to move it down here to the bottom left. I'm going to move that to Filmora. I'm going to move welcome. And now you've got the same animation working, but it's not covering up his face. So that's a good way to add a little title slide in there that's a little bit bigger and a little bit fancier than just the lower thirds version. Often in Filmora there is a same look between the different things. So you'll see in openers there's this green one here, and then it's got its version in the titles section, and then in the lower third section it's got a little version of it too. So sometimes there's the same look here. So this one here looks that looks the same as that title one that we just put in. So sometimes there's things, and you can download things for these things too. So yeah, hope that's making sense. I'm just going to pop in a strepsil because I'm throat. Feeling lovely. Okay. Am I going too fast? Things making sense? Any questions? It feels so weird because you're all so quiet.
No, it's good. No, it's good. It's good to see, and then it makes it more familiar when you have a fiddle yourself anyway. But at least you sort of remember. So that's good. Thanks.
Yeah.
I know you're going to do it, but show us how to do music now.
Yeah, you want me to insert a song?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, for the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
and I want to know where the music comes from.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is a whole bunch of music that sits inside Filmora, but you can insert your own music. If you're going to put it on the web, please use royalty-free music. So you can get royalty-free music from Facebook, from bensound.com, which is where I get a lot of mine from. He doesn't have a huge amount of songs, but if you use his songs, you have to credit them in the video. So you just have to put up a little, if you're doing a subtitle, you could just put a tiny little bit down the bottom, music by bensound.com. There's other websites too. If you just search for royalty-free music, Art Grid, I think that's the name of it. I'll look up the name. I've had a mental blank on what it's called. But yeah, even Facebook Creative Studio, not a massive amount of royalty-free music, but you can actually download it from there. And YouTube has its own selection too, but I don't think that you can actually download it from YouTube. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you can definitely download it from Facebook. Okay, so we're just going to use music that's sitting inside Filmora. If I was to import it, I would just go back to my media area and I'd go import media files, and I would browse. Let's see if I've got any MP3 files in here. I doubt it. I don't think so, because this has been completely wiped, this machine. No, that's fine. Okay, so that's where I would do it from. But otherwise, I'm just going to go to the audio section in Filmora, and I'm just going to listen to a few different things that they've got. So I'll just have a listen. I can just select it, and then I can just press play here. And no, that's not doing it. Why is that not doing it? Because it's not downloaded. I think I have to actually download it. Anything, I'm just seeing if there's anything that doesn't have to be downloaded. No, that's okay. We'll just choose one. Is it letting me do it? Has it done it? Oh, it has. Whoops. Okay, put it in there 3 times. My bad. I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to delete the one in the front. So now I've actually added a song. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. Can anyone hear that?
No.
Could anyone hear the music?
No, we can't.
No. Okay.
No.
All right. Just imagine that you can. What it does is the music is the bottom layer of the cake, because that's what sits on the bottom. It doesn't need to be seen. So it's popped the music in there. But first of all, let's just say we just wanted music for this opener. Let's say this opener is actually going to go for a lot longer. For some instance, it may. And we just want that music, this song Drift, to go for that long. I'm going to select the music, and it is selected, and I'm going to cut it, and that will just cut the music. And I'm just going to hit delete. So now this song, and even though you can't hear it, it just goes for that intro time before he starts speaking. And what I'm going to do is, because it sounds funny when you cut off a song after just a few seconds, what I'm going to do is, so I double clicked on this, and I'm just going to do the fade out. I'm just going to say fade out for 2 seconds. So then it just sounds a little bit more natural. And what I then might do is go, oh, actually, David didn't start talking for a little while. So I'm actually just going to drag it a little bit over his video. So see how it's overlapping here? You can have a little bit of music coming in at the same time that he is starting to talk. So I'm actually going to double click on his video too, and I am going to click on the audio of his video, and I'm just going to fade in his video a little bit as well, so it's a little a bit more softer on the ears now, and you won't hear this. So it the music faded out, and it faded in a bit more to him. Oh, did you guys lose my screen then?
Yep, we're back to. So when you share screens this time, there's a tick box, Jerry.
A tick box for what?
So when you go share screens or share computer, there's the little tick box saying share audio, computer audio.
Oh, really?
Yep.
For me to tick or for you to tick?
No, for you to tick when you go to share your stuff. Trust me.
Oh, share computer sound. Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Well done. Who can share? Okay. Oh. Sorry, I keep pressing the Zoom menu. Okay, can you guys hear this now?
Are you ready for the national?
Can you guys hear that? Did it work?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay,
Excellent.
good. All right, good. All right. So this was the music.
Are you ready for the National Construction Code update?
Goes into when he starts talking. It could even go a little bit more. So I'm just going to drag it a little bit more. And then you might decide that actually I want to keep the same music in, but I want to have it heaps softer because he's going to talk now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my little red line back here, and I'm just going to insert drift again. Okay. Obviously it's a very long song, this one. And what I'm going to do is, at the moment, this version of drift is at a really high decibels. I'm going to turn it down a little bit.
Are you ready for?
And then what I'm going to do is have the same song again. Oh no, I've done this wrong because now the song is starting again from scratch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that first bit, and I'm going to drag the song back to the start. And this takes a lot of fiddling around, but I will give you, it's just the example. So what I'm going to do is cut the song there. So the song will keep going, but what I can do is this bit can be louder and then this bit can be softer. So what we're going to do with this first section of the song is we're going to fade it out, and then it will get softer and softer and softer. And what you hope is that it will match up to the sound of this one, which is going to be quite a lot softer. So I've selected this one, and I'm going to bring this down. See how the little sound bars are moving down? So that they're quite a lot softer, and you'll have to bring them down quite far for background music. So this may need to fade out for a lot longer, and it may need also to get quite a little bit softer to actually match up with this level. But I'll just play that. Hear it going down.
Are you ready for?
And then did you hear how it went into that same bit? But this bit was too loud. So I'm going to make that again a little bit softer and just kind of get it to.
Are you ready?
I'm almost there. This is why it can take a little bit of mucking around. But
are you ready for the National Construction?
Let's just pretend that is getting pretty good. But this is just one of these things where you can have music at the start and it's louder, and then it just gets softer. But it does take a little bit of playing around to get to the right level. And this first bit here was it's just a bit too loud at the start. So what I'm going to do is actually just try and fade in just a little bit here, gone straight to something like lots of seconds. And you can see here, once you've set a fade in or fade out, it brings this little thing here, these little draggers. So once you've actually set it, which again was just done by double clicking, and it comes up in this audio section. But once you've set it, you can actually just toggle it here with this. And that might actually sound a little bit better now because it's not going to be so harsh. It might just fade into fading out.
Are you ready for the National Construction Code updates for 29?
Build up to it a little bit there again, so it's a little bit. That was a little bit softer. You'll notice there wasn't such a harsh harshness about it, but I still think that it's too loud for over his voice. So I'm just bringing this down again, and
19.
Can you,
until it's a nice sort of background level.
can you fade his voice into Jerry so that it would sort of?
So I did do that here. You can see here this section of video has already, I put some fade in on his voice. But you don't want to fade in a voice too much because it will, it can often mute the starts of his words too much. So you just need to play around with it. But it's a good way. I do fade in and fade out on voices a lot if there's been things like ums and ahs and when the microphone goes puh, puh, or something like that, you know, like it's picked up some noises like that. So sometimes when I've done a little cut where there's been a little blip like that, or a big or a cough or some gross noise or something like that, I've cut it out. And then between those two sections of videos, I do a little bit of a tiny bit, like 0.1 or 0.2 of a second or something like that. I'll do a little bit of fade in and a little bit of fade out, and it actually just the noise of that transition is just a lot nicer. But this is pretty high level stuff. But I just want to show you guys what's actually possible. So we've added our music to it now, and as always, we just keep saving the project. If Filmora crashes, you've probably lost the last 20 minutes of stuff. It's pretty good at finding old versions and things like that. So you could say, all right, this song needs to end here, so I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to delete it. And again, with this video, this section of the song, it's got the fade in, but I haven't set the fade out on this section of the song. The fade out was only on that first section. It's always per section. So I'm just going to fade this out by, let's say, the last 5 seconds or something like that of the video. And I'm quite zoomed out here at the moment, but you'll hear.
Any questions?
So of course that's not how the video would end, with him bashing his head with the microphone. But you could hear there that music just faded out pretty nicely like that. Because when you stop a song mid song, you know, you want to fade it out, because a normal song at the end will just fade out anyway. So most songs will anyway. So that's it with the music. One of the things that I do for like, okay, let's say I was doing a video meditation for someone, which is what I do quite often, is her song might only go for 2 or 3 minutes, but her meditation goes for 12 minutes or something like that, and we just want the same song on repeat. What we do is we just insert the same song again, but we drag it down. Oops, that's drag. This is another way to drag the volume, by the way, is this line here. But we just grab the file and we drag it down to the next one below, and that's another layer of music down here. And it's just a way like a DJ would mix would mix music. It's a way to mix it so it's not so end and so start. So you could play with this. Where did my fade out go? My fade out disappeared. So you could have a lot less fade out than that. And you could fade in on this one. Got a really crazy thing. So here we have now mixed, and this is how easy it is.
Form below. I'm here to help you with any answers or questions.
We've now mixed two pieces of music together, and it just sort of goes seamlessly into it, especially with these the background music kind of songs that these sort of royalty-free music often is. It's often very similar and on similar levels, and the start and the ends of the songs are often quite similar. So it's really easy just to put a song on repeat. You could do a different song altogether, but you can still do the same process of merging in another song. Delete that from there, and we'll just chuck in another song. And I'm going to just, and that changes the volume, but I'm just going to put that down there, zoom in a little bit more. And just fade into this one. 4 seconds. And then that's
this form below. I'm here to help you with any answers or any questions you.
So that's mixed into to 2 songs. Can't really hear it. This is a really, really soft song, but I could turn that up if I wanted to.
This form below. I'm here to help you with any answers or any questions
because
you.
Of that fade in and fade out, it actually just sort of seamlessly went into that music. If for some reason I wanted to mute this section of video and I just wanted the images of him, all I have to do is Control-Shift-M and see how that went black. I'll just undo that because you can also right-click on it and you can mute it. So you can mute videos really easily. You don't have to do that whole volume down and up or anything like that. You can just mute videos. And that soundbar area will go black or grey instead of the blue, and that easily shows you that the video is on mute. So that's adding music. Any questions there? I'm going to delete that bottom song.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with it.
Yeah, good. And I'm just going to extend this out again to the end of the video there, just so it does actually go to the end of the video.
Can I ask, after I've played with it, then I want to do proper captions. Have you got other classes coming up? So I can do captions in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I'll go through captions now, just very, very briefly.
You're doing it fast.
But I do have a more extensive on Monday at 10 a.m. going over more extensively into captions, music, adding other fancy items to your video. So, but I'll show you quickly here how we do that. So we go back to the titles area, and I also showed people in my introductory class how to use Otter as a transcribing tool, and you can get your video uploaded to Otter, and it'll spit out all the words from the video, and you can copy and paste it into here basically. But let's just say we're just doing it the old-fashioned way, and we're just typing up what he says on the screen. We go into, so we've got all these lower thirds. We can just choose over here, the subtitles section here on the left. If I just kept scrolling down, in all of it. They're all there. So I could just have, I could have just scrolled down until I found subtitles, or I can just go to this subtitles section or end credits section, or what's this, new collection or something like that. Oh, look, whole new bunch of things. All right, so I want to do subtitles. Now, I personally don't like the ones that Filmora sets, but for this conversation, we're just going to use it. Pop it in there. Oh, there it is. It's up the top, of course. So I was thinking it was down the bottom. So again, it's just created another layer because it's just sitting on the top. It doesn't matter whether Sophia's honey is sitting on this layer or that layer. It doesn't matter because the subtitles and the logos are never going to touch. So,
are you ready for the?
You can see here. Just a bit because we've got that title.
The National Construction 19.
So now, I was going to say, why can't we read that? But that's just the way that image is with that white. You can't read it. I'm just going to go in and crop this image because I don't want to see that white. So I'm going to crop it. I'm going to change this ratio to 16.9 and I'm just going to bring it out to there. That little bit of sun there. And that's actually made that image here appear
for 2019.
And so this is one type of subtitle. Why on earth is it sitting up so high? Is this a moving subtitle or something like that? I don't know what that is. That's weird. Anyway, maybe it's a moving one. So there's that type of one. I'm not a big fan of these ones that are just white because often if you've got a confusing background, if the text is white or just black or something like that, it can get lost on a colourful background. So here, you know, white could be okay, but it might get lost on his shirt. If he was wearing all black and we had quite a dark background, then all white could be fine. But we go from sort of dark to light to dark, and just all white wouldn't work. So that's why I often choose something that looks more like number one here, and
help you with your fenestration issues.
And it's you know, it's a black box basically, and I often like to have a little bit more on screen. So sometimes I just go in and I play with this. Sometimes I like to have the box right at the bottom, and sometimes I like to have it all the way to the edge as well. And it does this all without changing, doesn't stretch the font or anything like that. So we can just go in and type exactly what he's saying. So if we just want to do that time here of what he's saying, what we'll do is we'll go into the subtitle and go into advanced, so that it will just play the stuff that's in this time. So we can go...
Fenestration issues.
Okay. Fenestration, there's a big word for you. Fenestration issues. Ignore the mistakes. But what else does he say?
What the F is fenestration?
What the F is fenestration. I had to pick the thing with the hardest words on earth.
Get in touch with us.
So he says, get in us, ignore the mistakes.
And we'll get back.
And we'll get back to you or something like that, he's saying. Okay, so now I can just hit play in this section.
Fenestration issues. What the F is fenestration? Get in touch with us and we'll get back to you.
And you go, oh, it cut off a little bit there. I'm just going to extend that out there. And I'm just going to play it here. I'm outside of the subtitle now.
We'll get back to you shortly.
Get back to you shortly. And that's where he finished there. So I'm just going to cut it there because I like the subtitles to end exactly where he stops talking. I'm just going to go back in here And I'm just going to add that word shortly. Now, this is if you hadn't already transcribed something and you were just typing it in as you hear it. So now I can listen to that.
Fenestration issues or the FS fenestration, get in touch with us and we'll get back to you shortly.
Okay, so I'm happy with that took exactly that amount of time. And I'm also happy with the way that subtitle looks. I keep jumping too far in and out here. So I'm happy with that. So now I just want to Control C. I'm going to copy this subtitle. I'm going to come to the end here and I'm going to Control V. What the heck? I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know. It should only be copying and pasting a subtitle into this area. I'm going to drag all this back down here. And anyway, so this subtitle now will look exactly the same as the next subtitle, and I can go in to advanced again, and I can say,
are you ready for the national?
All right. So ready, for whatever, national something. He didn't actually start saying it until about here, but that doesn't matter. If I like to keep the same black line there the whole time, because if I wanted to make the words come up a bit later, what I can do in the advanced thing is just this is the time that the subtitles are shown up, I can make this start a bit later. So where he doesn't start talking until a little bit. He doesn't start until about here, right? So I could make the words not appear until then.
Are you ready for the national construction?
All right, so everything is adaptable as to where you can make these words start and end and things like that. What I often like to do when I'm doing a whole big thing, I usually have transcribed the. Sorry, I'm just going to mute while I've usually already transcribed the audio or something like that already, and I'm pasting in these things as I go. What I usually like to do is I just make this subtitle the full length of the movie. This has moved again. Things do move around in the PC version for some reason. These videos down here have moved again. So annoying. Just select those last few ones and drag them up.
Jerry, you could use the safety locks to lock them in. Little locks on the left near the numbers.
Are you teaching me something, Carly? Where's this? Where are you seeing this?
Well, you can see my case on the left-hand side where it's got numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those you can probably click on them and that'll lock it.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. There you go. There you go. So this is something. It's new. This is new in the new version. So yeah, well done. Well done on that has locked those in place. So yay, Carly. She taught us something new. So yes, yeah, lock your layers. It's just like Photoshop. So lock your layers if you're happy with them and you're just playing around with subtitles. Absolutely. All right. So yeah, what I would normally do is I'd just stretch that same title along the whole way. And let's say he said a couple of sentences here and he stopped. I would say, okay. First of all, I would copy and paste all the text that I needed in, right? So Control V, da, da, da. Right, let's say I had that much text. And why can't we see it? Are we seeing it? Oh, I know why. Because I didn't. I had it starting later. we'll just go back into that. All right. So you can see here that it made the font smaller because it adapts as you put more text in. There is a way to make this non-adaptable, but I'll go into that in the more advanced class. It actually drives me nuts. I just prefer to be able to put the amount of text in that I want and that everything looks the same. I don't like the font of the subtitles changing. But yeah, let's say that he talked to here and that was that sentence until you'd finished all the words that you'd put in, and you'd go, okay, he's finished here saying ready for the national R, and you go, cut. No, it didn't do it. Cut. Didn't do it. No. Again. This is why I do Control B, because sometimes the cut doesn't work. I don't know why. That has cut that subtitle. So although this one looks the same at the moment, this one will stay the same. So then I can go into here and go, I'm ready for the new sentence, you know. And just make it a little bit longer. All right, so this is the new sentence now. And again, not happy with the way that looks. I want it to go over 2 lines. Is that going to do that? It is. I just went in here and I hit enter. I can go up here, and I can also, in this box up here, I can hit enter there, and I can go backspace here just to bring it onto 2 lines. And I'll go, yep, I'm ready. I'm happy with that. He stopped saying that sentence here. So again, this has worked this time. I cut it again, and then I can go in here and I can copy and paste in the new text again, and the new text and the new text. So every time I copy in a sentence from Word or Notepad or something like that, on average, if you're copying text from Word or Notepad, it seems to be about 1.5 lines of text fits good on one little subtitle section. Not quite 2 lines of text, like on an A4 sort of sheet, just normal size font. So I often try to keep just sort of one sentence or one main point to a subtitle section. Sometimes it's a big long sentence and it flows on to the next one, but if it just takes up 1 or 1.5 lines and that's a whole point, then I'll just keep it looking like that. It just depends what looks good. You don't want it too crammed up, but at the same time, sometimes you want to have more than 1 line of thing on here. I just moved that, so I'll just hit Control Z so it goes back to where it was. So you can kind of get the point of what I'm doing here is that it's the same subtitle all along. Every time I cut it, that previous one stays the same, and then I can change the next version of that subtitle. So it's not like a song where it keeps continuing. Every time I cut it, I can change what it's saying. So I can go, oh, I need a text, I need a enter there. Yep, happy with the way that looks. And then just go along here and hit cut again and do the next one. So that's our way that we subtitle. Any questions there? I'll move on to the next little bit before we finish off. No, it doesn't sound like there's any questions.
But a general question.
Yep.
No, it's great.
Sorry, Jan, do you want to go ahead?
No, I was just saying my 7 chunks are done. I can't learn another thing.
Don't worry, I'm in the same boat. My brain's full.
It is a lot to learn. I'm just going to show you now how to save it and export it, okay? Because that's, okay, cool. That's the main thing. Did you have a question? Pardon me?
Yeah, I do have one.
Yep.
You've been zooming in and out, like showing like the full length of the videos, and also like how yeah, how you go into the individual bits. How do you do that? What do you press?
Okay, so this area here, the plus and the minus, is your zoom in and zoom out. You'll see when I hovered over that, it also says that usually it's control plus and minus will do that too. So control minus I'm doing at the moment is zooming out. Control plus is zooming in.
She might have our head. Jerry, the photos might be over the top of where you're doing it. So it's on the right-hand side of the screen underneath his photo.
Oh. Yeah, you might have to move the photos of everyone, or you might have to minimize. I've got all the videos minimized now, so I can't actually see you because it does get in.
Minimize them?
It gets in the way, yeah. So
yeah, I've seen it, thanks, yeah. Thank you.
Because I had them over the top of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so just this plus and minus tool here, or control plus, control minus, that makes you get in and out of what you're doing easier. And sometimes, yeah, it's easier to see the whole project. Sometimes it's easier to see, you know, quite zoomed in. You just got to check sometimes when you zoom in that it will go back to where the red line was. So if you were wanting to look here and you hit zoom in, just make sure that you move your red line there, and then it will zoom into the red line. So that's a very handy little, one of the purposes of the red line is to just to help you navigate where you are. Because sometimes you zoom in and you go, oh, where am I? Where did it go? But it'll be where the red line is basically. So yeah, so I have covered an awful lot. So what I'm just going to show you now is just how that we save this as a video, export it as a video. So that is what our magic button up here is for, or I can go, no, it doesn't have it there anymore. It used to have it there as well, but just you'll have an export button. And first of all, if I wanted to, and I'll teach this more on Monday, is sometimes I get all the editing just right, and then I might have a little start, a little finish, a bit of music at the end or something like that, and then I'll export it as a audio file to then upload it to Otter to get the transcription, and then I'll go back in and do the subtitles as the last thing. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes I download an SRT file as well, and the SRT files are the ones that are made for uploading to YouTube and Facebook, and those files have to be the exact right timing. So if I upload an audio and then all of a sudden my video changes, that SRT file will be all wrong. So I usually do all the editing first, add in any music, add in.
What does SRT mean?
I can't think of what it actually stands for, but it is a type of caption file. So when you go onto YouTube and you choose closed captions and those little black and white text comes up, just like the teletext on the TV, that's what the SRT file is. And the good thing about SRT files is that Google reads it. So you can do this type of captioning that we've been doing now is what you call burnt in captions, and SRT files make a closed caption, which is like closed captioning on the TV. But like I said, you can have both on, because if you have this type of burnt in captioning, it's good for people to read all the time, because they might not choose closed captioning on YouTube. But then if you have the closed captioning as well, the Google gods will read it, and it helps with your video SEO and Google knowing what your video is about, because Google doesn't watch your videos and understand what it's about. It's reading all the text that you put around it. So yeah, so I just went into export here, and if I wanted to do a MP3 file, which is the audio file, then I would just choose MP3 here. Just make sure that that you're choosing the right folder to where you've saved work. So I was working in Dairy Pack this morning, so now I'm just going back to Filmora, and it's going to save in that folder. It's telling me it's only 1.6 meg, which is fine, and I'm just going to call this, you know, David Audio or something like that. So I would just hit export. That doesn't take very long at all for an audio file. That's why I always do the audio first, and then I can go and do more jobs if I'm exporting the video straight after. If I want to do video, just choose MP4 format. That's the most standard one. .mov is just as popular. It doesn't really matter, but anything will pretty much accept an MP4 file, which is your video file. And again, I don't have to change the folder again because it's gone straight to there. I can choose 1920 by 1080, which is what we had set before. It's telling me it's going to be 105 meg. So like Praveen, you said before, what about for Instagram? It might have to be smaller. Well then, hopefully for Instagram, you might have set the 1:1 size to begin with. Once you're in there and you're working with it, you can't change it to the 1:1. You need to start with the project at that size. You can actually crop the video, but the video size will still be that. But we can downsize this here to like 1280 by 720, which is still the 16 by 9 size, but it's just that next resolution down. This is sort of the standard definition look, which is still fine for YouTube and Facebook and everything like that. So you can see here it's gone down to 105 meg. Let's see what happens when we go down to the next one. Let's see. Okay, so that's gone down to 54 meg. So you can see it's getting quite a lot smaller with each one. But, you know, I'll just choose 1920 by 1080 and I'll export it, and it will go into that Filmora Filmora lesson folder that I had selected, and that's where you'll find it when it finishes. So videos can take anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours to export, just depending on how long they are and the quality and the size and everything like that. You can get it to do this little sound reminder when it's done, so you might hear a ding when it's done. Otherwise it will just, Filmora will just all of a sudden, you'll come back to your computer and it will just say it's done, and you just go and browse to your folder and it will be there in your folder. If I go there now, it might actually show that it's processing. It's not showing it yet, but it'll go into my Filmora lesson folder anyway. So that's it. You've created a video, you've saved it as you've gone, you've exported, you've added some music, you've added some pictures in between, you've added pictures on top, you've added a logo on top of that, you've added text, you've added titles and openers and subtitles. The one thing I forgot to show you was, just very quickly, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to cancel this export. Doesn't matter, you can always go back to it. And I often cancel things on the go because I have all of a sudden realized I found a mistake. I'm just going to unlock my video layer. Gosh, Carly, you've just changed my life. It's just not something I've ever seen before. This new version. I might just say all of a sudden, oh, I just want a nice looking transition between the videos. So I'm just going to add in some transitions, and my favorite one is dissolve. But, you know, you can get really fancy and you can do slides, and you can do, oh, look, a love heart one. Right. So, and you can do this between chunks of video. You can do it between chunks of video and picture. So I could do it here.
So it's like PowerPoint and
yeah. So I've put that in,
and everything all mixed together.
Yeah. So
is your business going to be code?
Oh, that was a fancy one. So this is the heart.
We're here to help you.
Oh, creates a heart, and you know, there's all sorts of ones. So move down.
We're here to help you with your fenestration.
Down, you know, anything like that. So if I've just done a little minor cut between what he says, I don't ever put these transitions in. But if he's like end of paragraph talking on a new topic, I might, and it's been a separate cut, I will often put like a dissolve in. So there's your little nice dissolve kind of thing. And you can actually, these things can be at the start of the video, it can be at the end of the video before, or it can be overlapping. Usually if it's a dissolve, I will do an overlap. But if you're at the start of your video, you can do a dissolve right at the start. You can do a dissolve right at the end, yeah, or fade out, you know, a fade type one or something like that. So that's how these little transitions work. And this is what I mean by overlap. Prefixes before the video, postfixes after that video, overlap. And I can also say I want to make all of them 1 second or 1.5 seconds or something like that. So I can make them all transition in 1.17 seconds, or 1 second and 17 frames, that probably is. And I can hit apply to all, and all the transitions that I made just now will go to the same length in time. But for instance, if all of a sudden I just realized, oh, this one needs to be a bit longer, I can just individually just drag that one out like that, or drag it in, doesn't matter. So that's transitions. So it's just a nice little way that you can change things up a bit. I just did a recent a video for a really funky, fun model shoot type video. So it was hairdressers, and the girls are getting their hair done and everything. So I used lots of really cool type transitions because that was the style of the video. With this style of video, just somewhere talking, I'll probably just more talk, just do the dissolves and things like that, just really simple type things. But that's what transitions are. So anything else more advanced, if you want to come and do the Monday at 10 a.m. class, that we'll go into the more advanced stuff. And Monday afternoon is more all about making podcasts and video casts and things like that. So if you want to jump onto any of those, let me know. I've got a code to give you a discount if you buy any other lessons. So is there any final questions for today?
Can we watch this whole thing from the beginning, please?
As in this video?
Yeah, I know it's not your best work. But to see it all as one, so we can.
You absolutely can. It's pretty boring though, and it goes for a couple of minutes. But let's go through a little section of it so you can see.
How long? How do you know how long it goes for?
Oh, there. Okay, so
1 minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, 1 minute and 50 seconds or something, but we'll skip some bits. But what we can do here is when we're previewing, we can go, is this the, no, it's not. How do I get the full screen? There's normally a way, sorry, it's different on every version. Anyway, you can usually preview this full screen.
Are you ready for the National Construction Code updates for 2019?
This is where we inserted the image.
Is your business going to be code compliant? Hi, I'm David Morehouse from AFRC Lab. We're here to help you. We're here to help you with your fenestration issues. What the F is fenestration? Get in touch with us and we'll get back to you shortly.
So that's where he might be talking about his PowerPoint slide.
Are you ready for the National Construction Code updates? Code updates from AFRC Lab. We can help you with your code compliance. We specialise in these things here, windows and doors, and non-compliance could cost you millions. Fill out this form below. I'm here to help you answer any of the questions you've got about your glazed products, or call me on 0420 404 478. Just fill out this form.
As you can see, there was lots of bloopers in this version. So nothing else really special happened in there, any other effects, but we can just move along to this last little transition. I think this was a love part one.
Fill out your details below.
So yeah. The other thing that I would often do at the end here is I might just do a little sign-off video. So I've got all these Once a Nurture Queen videos where it's just a little a few second thing where it's just some music and an outro. It's all done electronically on these template programs, and it just says Nurture Queen videos, you know, so you can do that for your business too. And I'll go into that kind of stuff in the advanced class as well, as where to get all these things. So yeah, is that what you wanted, Carly?
Yeah, it was just nice to see your best work there. Just how it all came together, even though.
Yeah. Disclaimer: that was not my best work.
Oh, I thought so.
Because you know, I got on my best example of the best presenter you've ever heard and the best looking images, and yeah, we've mixed together quite a few things: windows and honey and music and everything like that. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along, and I will after the recording is done, I will send it out to you as well. So let me know as well if any of you want to bring a friend on to any of the classes on Monday. I'm happy to have any friends on, and if one of your friends would like access to today, just tell them to get in contact with me and I'll give them access to this. So thanks guys, and just let me know if you have any questions later on.
You.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jen.
Have a great rest of your week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.